Could we bring it up? Good morning. Thank you very much, Melinda. I hope you don't mind me being a teeny bit corporate at the start. The one thing I want to talk about first is about our organisation, is its ownership structure. And I think this is very important in the context of what I'm going to say today, because I believe the way that any organisation sees the future is very much the result of how it can or sometimes can't meet the expectations of its owners. And as you're going to hear today, I have a generally optimistic view of our future. I believe that the opportunities offered by Web 2.0, in fact the web in general, far outweigh the threats. But I'm also aware this is very much, or at least significantly, a result of our owners' willingness to take a long-term view. We're owned, as you can see, by an organisation called the Scott Trust. We have no shareholders, nor are we owned by a powerful or wealthy individual. Our core business, the one you'll know most about, and I'll be talking about today, is Guardian News and Media, which is home to the Guardian, Observer and Guardian Unlimited. Above this sits Guardian Limited, which is Guardian Media Group, which is where I work. And in addition to this, we have the business on the side, regional newspapers, radio, automotive classified, and property classified businesses. And all of these businesses are there with one purpose, which is to preserve the editorial and financial independence of the Guardian going forward. And as I say, I believe ownership is a critical element to how any newspaper publisher will see the web. There is no denying that our industry, particularly in Western Europe and North America, is structurally challenged, pretty much entirely because of what's been happening on the internet, whether that's Web 1.0, Web 2.0, or Web 3.0. Those who expect revenues and profits to just keep rising and margins to never waver have already been disappointed, and I suspect there are going to be further disappointments down the line. But I fundamentally believe that publishers who are prepared to experiment, innovate and invest online will create significant cultural and commercial value as a result of their efforts. And over the last decade, we've invested steadily in our online presence. Thanks to our ownership, we weren't forced to spend embarrassing millions during the dot-com boom, nor were we forced to close the whole thing down when the market crashed. Plenty have actually spent more than us. Some people have done some things better than us or quicker than us, but no one, at least no one in the narrow confines of the UK, has done as much as us, I believe, as well as us over the last decade. And that's why our online presence, as you heard, Guardian Unlimited is now healthily profitable and the clear market leader, and we've sort of picked up some of the awards you just heard about. But more than this, it's allowed us to shift our horizons as an organisation. Our ambition is no longer tied to print and no longer tied to the UK. We no longer talk about ourselves as being a newspaper. That's not something. Our goal is to be the world's leading liberal voice, and we say this repeatedly throughout the organisation. This is our ambition, and we couldn't even think that way were it not for the sort of the light the internet has opened to us. However, it's fine for us to sort of pitch ourselves against other newspapers, but the online world is constantly changing, and it isn't good enough for any newspaper to simply compare their sites with another newspaper and think that's job done. Being online is like having a store in a shopping mall. You have to keep up with everyone around you, even if they're not a direct competitor. Otherwise, you seem very tired very quickly. And as you can see, some of the companies here have folded, some of them have been sold for tens or hundreds of millions, but the overriding characteristic of Web 2.0 has been an explosion in online innovation. These are tremendously exciting times, and we should all actually count ourselves quite lucky to be working them. But the first thing you notice when you just look at this graphically is that not many of these logos look like newspaper mastheads. You know, if this was a party, it would be pretty clear that we are not really being invited to it. If you take a sort of slightly simpler view of it, of what is Web 2.0, try and diffuse it, I think there are really four characteristics: social networks, video, collaboration and search and aggregation. And again, if you're a newspaper looking at this, you have to accept that none of this is our core skill. And so with Web 2.0, what seems to be happening is that the web is moving away from us. It's actually getting harder for us to compete. But compete we must. Now, not everything that's happening around Web 2.0 or the latest developments is around the web, but I believe